Alright, this is Dan House here, very nice, very evil. You are watching True Heel Heat. Probably should have had MJF do this, but here we are.
Hey guys, this is Thunder Rosa and welcome to True Heel Heat.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for our Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom preview, our first ever preview of a major Stardom show. And of course, we had to do it for Stardom's biggest show ever this coming Sunday, April 23rd in Yokohama Arena. When we talk about Japanese professional wrestling, you know we got to bring in the master of ceremonies for New Japan Pro Wrestling, usually, as the IWGP Women's Championship will be on the line on this Sunday show. We got your man, Jay News.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your good brother Jay News, and we're back at it again here. First time for me doing this Stardom review, look over thing with some gentlemen who have a little bit more education on this than I do. Looking forward to the event, though. This is something long time coming, especially for the Stardom women. This is their biggest stage now, with the whole merger with Bushi Road being complete and them being thrust into the limelight. Hopefully this is a good show for them, and hopefully this spotlights them in a way where more success gets breeded for them down the road.
So you have different levels of people who watch Stardom here. You have Jay News, who mainly has seen Stardom from their combination, their partnership with Bushi Road and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Me, I'm more of a novice, but I've been watching more and more this year, especially with the major shows. So I had to bring in an expert. You've seen him here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, on the flagship podcast, when we had a crazy week of 101 shows, because he's the only person that I know in wrestling media that watches probably more wrestling than even I do, because he's very akin to the Joshi side of things, and he does some great podcasts talking about Stardom. Check out his full write-up preview over on Voices of Wrestling. He does a podcast for Fightful Select. You see him on the 5-Star Network doing major reviews and previews for Stardom. He is Scott E. Wrestling. Scott Edwards rejoining us today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's really cool for me to get to do a show like this, because like you said, it's the first time, you're doing this full preview for, and it's like, all right, so this show does mean as much as it does, as I hoped it would. And, people will point fingers as to who or why, but it is the biggest women's show, at least in Japan, in decades. I'm willing to say it's the biggest overall in decades, since this is the equivalent of what Dream Slam was for All Japan Women's back in the 90s. This is the best of the best coming together and putting on one hell of a show. And this is why, when Stardom was bought by Bushi Road, this was the goal. This was the journey. Make it, every step is a bigger show. I mean, they've grown an unbelievable amount since Bushi Road's added them. They are, pretty easily now the number 2 promotion in Japan, just behind New Japan, which, I mean, come on. It's catching up to New Japan. It's not something that I'm asking for, but they're easily number 2 now, and they deserve this big spot. It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I said it myself last year. AEW had more of an up and down year. They started the year on an up, and then they went down after Brawl Out. WWE started the year down, and then they came back up after the departure of Vince McMahon. I think the most consistent, and New Japan were kind of up and down themselves. I think the most consistent promotion was Stardom as far as like just trajectory going up and up. And I do agree, they are the second biggest promotion in all of Japan right now because they have the best women possible, and now they have a big company like Bushiroad supporting them, and it all comes together here for this big show. You were even telling me beforehand how Stardom has kind of restructured their schedule, where this is now like the big major show of the year here.
Yeah, so Stardom Dream Queendom 2 years ago, it was their debut inside Sumo Hall. That was their biggest show. And now it's their only annual show, so it's like still major, or should I say annual major pay-per-view. So it's still major. But at the end of last year, they did have the big moment of Giulia beating Syuri. And that was like that big moment. But a lot of the rest of the card did feel like, oh, this feels like a continuation rather than the culmination of everything. And it was all to build to this show. So this is really your Wrestle Kingdom, your WrestleMania, all out. Like that is what this is for Stardom. This is the reset now. This is that year-end closing final show where after this is over, now we're going to see where they go after that. And that's kind of why I think they've had a slower start to the year than some people expected. And it's because we've been building to the show each and every show.
Love to see it and love to talk about it with someone who's as knowledgeable as you when it comes to Stardom. If you are joining us live, we appreciate you for joining us here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. If you're watching us on demand, we also appreciate you as well. Show your appreciation back. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat, in the comments down below. Tell us what you think about Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom. Give us your predictions in the live chat if you're with us live. And of course, super chat donations are always appreciated, and it'll make sure we highlight your comment on screen with us. We got Dolores in the chat saying, "What's up, everyone?" We got Alan Banky here saying, "What's up, everybody?" We got the CEO saying, "What's good, everybody?" I think that's a hint of who this person's rooting for come Sunday. Alan Bakey saying also, "What's up, my co-first place partner in the predictions, J News SP3. We coming for that crown." I hope J News is taking notes. He's probably going to steal your predictions, Scott, when it comes to the prediction championship for All-Star Grand Queendom. Are you ready to predict this card, J News?
Absolutely not. And I steal nothing. I steal nothing, sir. I will do exactly what I did last week with some Triple Mania picks. I just pick the stuff I know, and then I throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. That's all I'm doing.
Also smart. We got Alan Bakey says Stardom has the best women's wrestling right now, way better than whatever is happening on the West Side with WWE and AEW. And yeah, it's very clear that this is kind of the upper echelon of when it comes to women's wrestling worldwide. So let's get into this card. Bunch of matches. Like I said, I told Scott before we went live here that I'm gonna be leaning on him for a bunch of this stuff because I might get names wrong. I'm just gonna put that out there. I always have difficulty with New Japan names, and I watch that all the time, so I'm gonna have issues with the names here. But they're gonna start off the show. I believe this is gonna be on the pre-show. You got the Yokohama Rumble. This is gonna be kind of anyone who isn't a part of the major matches on this card is kind of thrown into here. Could you give us kind of like the background on this kind of Yokohama Rumble? I know this is something that they regularly do as far as like battle royals on these major shows. And who is your prediction, Scott?
Yeah, so what's interesting? Anytime you have a Rumble, it's like, I don't know. Let's just throw some ideas at the wall and see what happens. It's cool to see a legend like Momo Nakanishi in there, and there's always a chance we get another surprise that may not be on the graphic. But what Stardom has done with these Rumbles is they always go with someone that does mean something for them. 2 years ago at All-Star Dream Cinderella, which was at the time one of, if not their biggest shows ever, at the Nippon Budokan. Unagi Sayaka walked out with the win. She was coming off a losing streak, but it was to build her up for the bigger part of the year. If you follow Stardom at all, Waka Tsukiyama just started to win a little bit recently. She kind of jumps out to me as a favorite here, as well as Mai Sakurai, who was just in the finals of the Cinderella tournament, had a great match with Mirai, which I thought was definitely maybe the match of her career. So those would be my top two choices, and that's why they're in the middle of the graphic at the end of the day. So I would probably go with one of those two. Hanan's like the future ace, so she's always like someone I toss out there, but I would go with Mai Sakurai or Waka Tsukiyama here.
So you got to pick one. Who would it be?
I'll pick Waka. I think the moment would be worth it.
I'm in total agreement with you. I have Waka Mania to kind of put it in comparison for more of our Western fans. Waka's storyline and her trajectory is very similar to the Mikey Whipwreck story back in ECW. She was kind of the perennial jobber whenever she joined Stardom, and she had these a match for the future championship, and she lost. Then she lost to Tam Nakano. She lost to Mina Shirakawa, and she just kept losing. She joined Cosmic Angels, and I know a lot of Stardom fans said whenever Waka was on a Cosmic Angels team, you knew they were going to lose, and you knew Waka was going to take the fall. And for 2 years, that became her story, that she just kept losing until Tam basically told her that she had 3 months to win, or she would be kind of booted out of Cosmic Angels. And she put the burden on herself at New Blood Premium when she teamed with Tam to verse Nene Takahashi and Kairi in a tag team match. One of the most emotional matches that I saw this year, and she got the win finally, became a permanent member of the Cosmic Angels, and then she went on this magical run in the Cinderella tournament, going to the semifinals before she lost to Mai Sakurai in the semifinals on the final show. And then on that final show to end the night, she was basically put in the middle. She became like the #1 draft pick of Cosmic Angels and Club Phoenix when Mina decided to separate Club Phoenix from Cosmic Angels, because they started off as kind of a subgroup of that big group Cosmic Angels. They basically made her the #1 draft pick and asked Waka which group she was going to join, and she decided to join Club Phoenix over the Cosmic Angels. So I think it's all building to Waka getting this big win in the Yokohama Rumble. But J News, who do you got?
I'll start off by saying something that I'm not too sure you thought about, but everything you just described seems like a storyboard, a precursor, an outline for Master Wato's way to the Grand Master.
That is not. It's not as. It's a lot better than the Master Wato trajectory.
I'm just saying that you have an outline now, right? Like everything that's going on with Waka. This is an outline for Wato later on in his career, or sometime soon. I will piggyback. This is the first time I'll piggyback because I have no idea. The last time I saw Stardom Rumble, it was more or less the same thing. It was a whole lot of Joshi wrestlers that I had no idea about, and I was like, "What is? Who are all these women? Are they really in this company?" Like I didn't know. And then you saw like some weird characters, like the lady in green who's really buff and she has a mask, and I so I was like, all right, this feels like very WWE like in a sense. But then some folks gave me some background on it and stuff like that or whatever. So I'm gonna ride the Walkmania train here, and we'll go with that.
As everyone should. As everyone should.
Waka. Yes. Well, I also got to give a shout out to Meerkat Ultra. I watch his YouTube channel. He gives a lot of good information in a very funny way about Stardom. So that's the person that helped me with telling that Waka storyline. But let's get into more of the major matches on this card here. It's going to be tag team action as you have Fuwa teaming up with Hazuki to verse the Queen's Quest team of Utami Hayashita, and Amasaki. So I think you would do a better job of kind of explaining. I know Fuwa is a major celebrity, probably the biggest celebrity name in Japan that's on this show, but this is only her second match in Stardom. And who, of course, do you got in this matchup here, Scott?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Fuwa-chan is pretty much the equivalent of like Logan Paul in Japan.
Okay.
Like in terms of popularity, over 1 million followers on social media, on Twitter. She's on like primetime television for them all the time. Her debut was made into like this special episode on TV, like on primetime TV, had Keiji Muto on it talking about it. It was like, It was a big deal. And she's someone who I saw step into the ring. And I walked away saying she should probably do this for the rest of her life because she's excellent at it. She has a good, underdog baby face feel to her, and I think that's why she's with Hazuki and with Stars mostly, because she just connects in that way. And teaming with Hazuki's the one who trained her, for those who don't know, so it's only perfect that those two are together. And then of course Utami Hayashida, a lot of people know her as one half of the two that really helped put Stardom directly on the map of a lot of people with that Syuri match from 2021. And Amasaki is pretty much her rookie. And the whole point of this match is Utami said, well, I want my rookie to stand out kind of like Fuwa-chan did. Let's do that match. They became the tag team, and this is where we're at. And it should be a really fun tag team match. The Fuwa-chan debut was excellent the first time around. They went against Saya Kamatani and Hina. I expect it to be great again. And I expect her to have a great showing, that being Fuwa-chan. Do I think they'll win this time? That I don't know, because they didn't win last time, though that was her debut. Maybe this time it could be a little bit of change up. But, as I like to say, who's going to be here tomorrow? Not Fuwa-chan, unfortunately. So I will go with Utami and Amasaki, though I wouldn't be surprised if Fuwa-chan did get the big win, especially since this show or this match will actually be televised, unlike the last one. The last one they saved. This time it will be on the pay-per-view.
J News, what about you after getting that background there?
I'm going to go with the team of Fuwa-chan and Hazuki, correct?
Yes.
So Hazuki, wasn't she a part of a match that we just recently watched?
She was a part of the three-way with Azumi and Mercedes Mone.
We got to ride Genesis. We got to ride the Hazuki wave, man. And if she's been training Fuwa, I think that would be the smart business decision to make here. Putting the match on TV, Fuwa being as popular as she is, and Hazuki coming off of that great match with Mercedes Mone in the three-way. Yeah, let's ride the Fuwa wave here and see as to what they can do.
I'm kind of split. I have to break this tiebreaker here because
I will tell everyone real quick. Fuwa-chan is not hated like Logan Paul, though. So I will, no, she's loved all around. That's the big difference.
Yeah, I really like Hazuki and I really like Hayashita. That was kind of like my first exposure to a Stardom match, because when it broke Dave Meltzer's star rating with 5.5 stars, I was like, oh, I gotta go out my way and watch this. And I remember watching it and being on this channel and saying that was the greatest women's match I've ever seen in my life, because they were hard hitting, went at it, had the double knockout finish after it got restarted and everything after the time limit draw. So I will always hold her in high regard because of that. But you gave us the whole background on Fuwa-chan, and I'm a big fan of Hazuki. I was really convinced by her matchup with Saya Kamatani earlier this year. One of the best women's matches of 2023 so far, and then continued that in the three-way where I felt like she was the big standout. She was the MVP of that match with Mercedes Mone and Azumi. So I'm going to go with Fuwa-chan and Hazuki here. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with this.
I hope you're both right.
The popular Logan Paul.
Oh no! People are gonna hear the Logan Paul thing and instantly like start to hate this poor woman. She's
the dislike button on this whole stream right now. No, hit the thumbs up. Next we got 8-woman tag team action as Club Venus will be joined by DDM's Thekla to verse Oedo Tai. Oedo Tai is the top heel faction in Stardom. Club Venus is kind of like the newest faction with Mariah May, Xena, and the newly to the group Jessie Kamea, if you remember her from NXT fame. You could give us more background on the whole dynamic here and how Thekla got a part of this whole team here. I've even seen them have pictures on social media with Club Venus and Thekla joining the group. Is he now gonna be like? Is it gonna be another defection after we saw the defections at Cinderella final, or is this gonna be more of a one-time thing? And how did we get here? And of course, who do you have, Scott?
Well, Tekla openly cannot stand them, so I think we don't have to worry about that. She's not a big fan of the Club Venus trio. This pretty much came together. You know, you put all the international star wrestlers together for a match. Tekla didn't have anything to do, and the Club Venus trio, they've kind of become their own thing. Obviously, the Oedo Tai 4, and I'll always say this with the Oedo Tai, it's like they may not be doing much of anything right now, but they always work really well together as a faction. And I think that's kind of why, you know, some may give them the edge in this match because they're all one, while Tekla, Club Venus, they're not connected, right? So that could cause problems. But you also have to play the fact Club Venus is a new faction, and you would think that they would continue to win. So that's kind of what you would go back and forth on here. Because it is in this match doesn't have much meaning to it. I'm not gonna lie to you folks. Like this match is probably the least meaningful of the entire night. That being said, it's still a chance for, you know, Club Venus to kind of show their new looks, maybe have some comedic moments with Tekla, and Oedo Tai to be, you know, the dastardly heels as they like to be. If I had to make a pick, I went back and forth on this, but I do think that Oedo Tai being the full faction does matter. And they could easily pin Tekla because Club Venus leaves her in the dust. You know, we've seen that many times in, say, WWE or AEW or really anywhere. If not everyone's on the same page and say Tekla's tagged in the ring and she, you know, angers them, they'll get off the apron and say goodbye. And that's where Oedo Tai wins. So I'll go with Oedo Tai here.
And Momo Watanabe is one of my favorites from Stardom. So I'm gonna agree with you and go with Oedo Tai. Who do you have, J News?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll go with the heel faction Oedo Tai as well, because we have the proverbial can they coexist match here with the ladies over on the other side. I got introduced to Thekla during the Stardom crossover event. And me and SP3 had a lot of fun with what was going on there. So,
I love the way she moves like a spider. She actually moves like a spider in the ring.
Exactly. I mean, from an overall just movement perspective, she's special in that way because I've never seen a women's wrestler move the way that she does, and she moves with such speed and such ferocity that it's like, all right, I want to see more of this. But being that she's with this new what's the faction's name? Venus
Club Venus.
Club Venus. How did Jessie Kamea become a part of this group, Scott?
She's like the newest addition, isn't she?
So what's interesting is Stardom has taken chances with a lot of like people that aren't necessarily in the, you know, for example, TJPW brought in Billy Starks, right? Billy Starks is very well known here in the US, while, you know, Stardom brought in Mariah May, and I don't think everyone necessarily knew who Mariah May was. And she's really proven to be a true prospect. She's been excellent.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're going. They're rather going with, you know, people I think they can kind of make their own rather than people that have established themselves. And Jessie Kamea, you know, when I saw her pop up, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I think a lot of people just instantly look at her like 3-minute matches in WWE NXT and be like, oh, that was not a good choice. She's already shown something. She has this like Haas ability that I think is interesting. How did she end up being the one that they picked? I have no idea. I couldn't even begin to tell you. But I don't know. I think they've been doing well with picking these more out of, diamond in the rough type people, and it's proving to work out, so I can't blame them.
We got a question here saying, "Where is Zaya Brookside? I haven't not seen her much. I think didn't she have like a visa issue where she was in Japan for
I
a
wouldn't say
little
it
bit
was
and
an
then she left?"
issue. So how visas work, like the work wrestling visas, you get 3 months and then you leave, and then you got to get another one, and so on and so forth. Unless you're Mariah May, I have no idea how Mariah May is still here. So I think Jessie said she would be back in the U.S. in June, for example. So there you go. Like people slot in and out. I think Zaya Brookside will be back, but I have no idea because I expected her to be back by now if she were to come back. So she's doing dates here in the US. She's doing dates in England, and that's kind of keeping her busy.
Well, there you go. There you go. Thank you. I heard it kind of off on the side, but I didn't hear like the full details on that.
Yeah,
one.
I mean, in the end, they're visa issues.
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty much what I still said, but I gave I guess the more like, oh, this is what happened.
The next one, we got a tag team match. Probably the tag team match I'm looking forward to the most on this card, as you got the Azumi Starlight Kid rivalry in tag team action heating up here, as Azumi's gonna team with Mei Segura, and Starlight Kid's gonna be teaming up with Mei Sira. Am I saying that right, Scott?
Sounds right.
There you go.
So well, because her name, this is gonna be her first match under her new name. So I've actually not heard them say it. I've never heard them say Mei Sarah. Her name originally was Meiho Suzuki. She wrestled in the Marvelous promotion, the promotion run by Chigusa Nagayo. That's where she was trained, and then in 2021 she disappeared. And when I say disappeared, I mean she disappeared. Like they announced that 3 wrestlers were not going to be participating anymore. Since then, one has officially retired. The other has went to another promotion. She was the last one, and she was the most talented one. Truthfully. So if you're in like the Joshi rows, like when is this woman going to come back to wrestling? Like, is she ever going to come back? And I had an inkling once that they started to build this match that she would be the one. And she has a lot of history with Azumi, who she, I believe, teamed with again in the Marvelous promotion as well previously. She also was tag team partners with Mei Saruga. A lot of people know who Mei Saruga is, of course, thanks to her AEW time. But this match is going to start off the main card based off the Stardom website, and it is the perfect match to start us off. If you saw Azumi in the IWGP Women's title match, I think she made a lot of fans there from her nonstop high speed ability. Well, all 4 of them do that. So this is going to be like one of the fastest, most chaotic matches we will see on this show. It's an excellent way to start us off, and I think it's going to be the perfect way to reestablish Mei Sarah as not only a wrestler, but probably the next high-speed champion. I think that's really where she's going to go, which will be very important because Azumi's in the middle of a historic high-speed title reign. I think Mei Sarah gets the win here. So her and Starlight Kid get the win. That builds her to the title match down the line, and we'll see Azumi and Mei Sarah go head-to-head.
Well, there you go. I know you're familiar with Azumi now after the 3-way matchup with Hazuki and Mercedes Mone, and you saw Starlight Kid at Historic Crossover where she had a cool little association with our boy El Desperado. So who do you have in this one, J News?
Oh man, Starlight Kid impressed me. About like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I saw a YouTube clip of her, and I was like, I want more of this type of women's wrestling on my TV. And then seeing the Azumi match, her Mercedes Mone, other clips that I've seen over the time, or whatever the case is, I was automatically going to go with the team of Starlight Kid and the other
Mei Sarah.
Joshi Mei Sarah. There you go. Just because of Starlight Kid, and now that Scott broke down Mei Sarah, I'm more interested in watching what her style is going to look like, and how she gets down in the ring. If Mei Sarah gets the pinfall over Azumi, man, we've got a good trajectory going down the line for the rest of the year in 2023. So looking forward to that. But Starlight Kid team, Mesa, that's my pick there.
And this feels like the best type of matchup if you're not going to have Azumi defend the high speed championship, like you kind of explained, Scott. Like you have 4 kind of high speed wrestlers going at it, and I'll just say it right here. Outside of Hayashita and Syuri, my favorite rivalry in Stardom is Azumi and Starlight Kid. Like the matchup last year was fantastic. The matchup this year, one of the best women's matches of the year at Triangle Derby Championship Battle. I thought that was even just slightly better than Saya Kamatani versus Hazuki that was on the same card. But go out of your way to watch those 2 matches if you haven't already, between Azumi and Starlight Kid, and they've had this rivalry since they were basically in their adolescence, because Azumi started wrestling when she was like 11 years old, Scott.
Pretty much, yeah. She's only 20 now, and she's a veteran. So,
yeah, like a 10-year veteran.
You know how like you hear about
Riho?
You know how you hear about Riho and how she's like a 14-year veteran or whatever? That's pretty much what Azumi is as well. Yeah, her and Starlight Kid they call them the eternal foes for a reason. They are rivals forever, and they're only gonna get better and better against each other. Add in the other 2, and it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make it unanimous. I'm gonna go with Starlight Kid and Mei Seira, and I do agree that Mei Seira kind of probably is gonna be in position to be the next challenger for the high speed championship. But let's get into now the major matches on the show. Nothing but either championship battles or long stories going into the rest of the matches on this card. As first, you got Himeka's retirement match, quote unquote, from Stardom, we'll say. Yes. As it's going to be Himeka going one-on-one with her longtime tag team partner, Maika. These 2 have formed one of the better teams in Stardom. They had their championship shot at the Goddess of Stardom championship titles earlier this year. One of the better tag team matches from Stardom against 7-Up, and they lost there. And then after that matchup, Himeka announced that she would be retiring at the end of basically this little retirement road that she's been on, with major matches against DDM members as well as former DDM members teaming up with Maika, and now they're going one-on-one, the former longtime tag team partners. I'm gonna go with Maika on this one because, yeah, Himeka's got to look up at the lights in her retirement matchup. But Scott, you could go more into detail about this longtime tag team going at it here.
Yeah, so this is like the easiest pick of the show in terms of who's winning. But for the background, for those who may not know, this Himeka's retirement obviously comes out of nowhere. That's kind of how some Joshi retirements unfortunately go. It's just part of the game. We've gone a long while since a big Joshi retirement like this, but they do a great job at giving them like this way of saying goodbye, which has been this retirement road. And like you said, not her official retirement match. Her official retirement match will come a few days later at a very unique show. That being said, she and Maika have been pretty much connected at the hip since she debuted in Stardom 2.5 years ago. They developed into one of the best tag teams, not only in Stardom, but truthfully the world. They didn't get to do it all the time because whether one of them were hurt or just other things were going on, they didn't get to team, I think, as much as a lot of people wanted. They did have a tag title run that wasn't all too long. But if you saw their singles match on the final night of the 5-Star Grand Prix last year, you know how great this can be and probably will be. If you've seen any of Himeka's retirement road, you know how good this can be. I just watched their match with Syuri and Giulia from last week's Friday Corkin. It is one of the best matches of Himeka's career, I'm willing to say. It was that great. It was one of the best Mahime matches I've seen. She is going to go all out in this final match against her, best friend, her sister, stablemate, and it's gonna be very emotional. I wasn't like the biggest Himeka fan. I'm not saying I'm not a fan. There's a lot of people that love her. I was never at that level, but the emotions are starting to come in now because it's like, you see everyone how much she meant to the roster. She's a fan favorite, so it'll be very emotional. But This is definitely one, even if you aren't, necessarily connected to who Himeka is or Mike is, you'll be in for a big hoss fight, and that's a good time, no matter how you slice it.
And to answer Big Man Dogs here, he's
Yep.
actually in, does anyone know if there will be English commentary? I do know that Chris Charlton of New Japan Pro Wrestling has confirmed he's going to
Yeah,
be
that he's
on
going to
the
be doing it.
call
Yeah.
for
Officially.
the Stardom show. So
Yeah.
that's official.
So the link that they are posting on at we underscore r underscore stardom, that is English commentary. It will be Chris Charlton, Sonny Gutierrez, and Momo Kogo on the comms. They're putting their best foot forward for this. It'll be very cool. Yes, the option of the Japanese or English. I think the Japanese, last time I checked, was Japan only. Now that could have changed since I checked, but you can definitely get English, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's good news to hear. Who do you got in Himeka's final retirement match here in Stardom, J News?
I mean, if all goes to wrestling plan, she should be looking up at the lights. So she will be taking the loss here. She's only Scott. She's only been with the company for about 2 years, roughly 2.5 years. How long is she?
2.5 years. She's only wrestled for 5.
Wow.
How old is she?
25.
25, yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming she's going to go on to bigger and better things in life or whatever. So
yeah, she wants to. Her entire. I guess I should have talked about why she's retiring. So her whole thing is she wants to retire before her body's beaten down. She's had a couple of injuries the past couple of years, and I think she lost her dad last year. She just wants to go on and enjoy life. She said she has 5 years. She's comfortable with it. I don't think that she's been pretty open about like how social media and stuff like that has also like affected her. I think she wants to take away from the spotlight. I wouldn't be shocked, and I say this all the time, but I wouldn't be shocked if she came back in like a year or two, truthfully, and just came back to wrestling, because you never know at this young. But she does seem like she just wants to enjoy life outside of wrestling for now. Like we talked about Hazuki, she retired a few years ago,
Yeah,
too. So you never know.
Gotcha.
So I think we're all going with Micah on that one. Next, we got a very interesting matchup, as this is going to be more of a Sendai girls rivalry coming to Stardom, as you're going to have Syuri going one-on-one with Chihiro Hashimoto. Am I saying that right? Scott?
Yes, Chihiro Hashimoto.
Oh man, I'm nailing the names here, man. I feel like Scott's giving me the battery in my back. I'm getting these names right, but shit, this one, I believe the stipulation is that it can only be won by submission or knockout. Is basically UWF rules, where if you've seen Syuri before, I've called her the Brock Lesnar of Joshi wrestling, because instead of Suplex City, it's Kick City with Syuri, with those hard kicks, very similar to like Kota Ibushi from the past. And Hashimoto, oh my god, the matchups with Himeka and Mirai, I was very impressed by. She is very much a hoss that just drops people on their damn head with the suplexes. But you could go more in depth about this rivalry that started off in Sendai Girls, now coming to Stardom on their biggest show ever. And this is the longest buildup of any matchup on this card, because Syuri basically called out Hashimoto after losing the World of Stardom Championship in December, and did this long build to this matchup here. Scott, explain and then let us know who you got.
Yeah, so you got two like titans going up against each other here. Syuri, former UFC fighter, former World of Stardom champion, SWA champion, big, tag team champion. She has been the equivalent of what Io Shirai was in Stardom for a long time, just this unbeatable force. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. And then Chihiro Hashimoto might be the most protected wrestler in Joshi, truthfully. Like, she doesn't lose a lot. She barely loses. And if she does, it's a tag team partner who lost. She doesn't lose unless it's meaningful. And like you said, this started long ago, Sendai Girls 2020. Chihiro Hashimoto defended the Sendai Girls Championship against Syuri in like a 13-minute match right before Syuri signed full time to Stardom, and that is a lot. That's one of like Syuri's like only singles losses the past couple of years. Like that's the crazy part of how protected she is. So like you said, after she lost the world title, she instantly said, "I want Hashimoto," and has led to this match. It is going to be excellent. This is going to be very different from the rest of the card. You said UWF style. I'll even go one step further. This is going to be a fight. That is what this match is. It's not a match. It's a fight, and no one's better at that than Syuri. Than bringing that out. And Chihiro Hashimoto is one of the best in the world. She is incredible. She is, Sendai Girls' ace. So it's a big deal that she's on the show. She's kind of one of the main reasons I call this like a Dream Slam show, because she is one of those top dogs that you have coming out from the Joshi indies and coming in and being a big force in this show. This should be excellent. Should be one of the best matches of the night, and I do expect Syuri to win. Though with the rules, you could always expect a double count out type referee stoppage, knockout situation. You could always see different things, but I do think they made this match happen with the intention of Syuri winning.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Syuri. Syuri is definitely one of my favorites from Stardom, and just how hard hitting she has been. And then she had a great match with Konami, I believe, on the Cinderella final, which had similar rules. I think they just forgot the rules because she got a pinfall at the end, because they said it was UWF.
So they said it was UWF, but it was never officially UWF. Like the website never said that. They just tweeted that out. I will say though, I said this after she lost the World of Stardom title. I do expect Syuri to be the Dominion challenger for the IWGP. I've felt that since then. I think she deserves that big spot. I think she's the type of person you want to put in front of a big stage like Dominion, right? It's not Wrestle Kingdom, but it's next big thing. Yeah. I think she would be the one to challenge for sure. And people know her because of that Utami match. So makes all the sense to me that Syuri would be the next challenger, and uses this to propel her there.
Jay News, who you got here?
I'm gonna show the thick girl some love. At the end of the day, I think Big Hash needs to get a win here. The setup from what Scott just explained. Obviously, Syuri being spotlighted, her being the former champion, her being thrust into that IWGP spotlight makes all the sense in the world. But at the end of the day, man, these hoss fights, they got to go down a certain way. And if there is some sort of a double knockout, not DQ, but like double knockout kind of a situation, being that it is UWF rules, they both stay protected. No one it's all in the air. But I'm giving the thick girl some love, because at the end of the day, they need love too, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to go Big Hash.
They need love. I like my girls BBW. We got next the first championship matchup that we're going to discuss on this card, as Prominence will defend the Artists of Stardom championships against a unique team entitled Restart, led by Kyrie, putting together this super team to go up for the Artists of Stardom championship. You can explain this a little bit more. All I know is that I'm a huge fan of Suzu Suzuki. She had one of my favorite matches of the year last year with Giulia in the 5-star Grand Prix, one of the most emotional matches I saw in all of wrestling in 2022. We know Kyrie. Some people might know Natsupoi, but you could give them a better explanation of how this match came to be, Scott, and who you have.
Yeah, so this is like... this is like my dark horse for match of the night, truthfully, because every other match that you see is like, okay, I expect that to be like, right, the IWGP, the World, they're like, yeah, I expect those to be the matches of the night. This is my dark horse, and I'll tell you why. If you've seen Suzu Suzuki, you know how incredible she is, right? You know how great she is. Prominence has established themselves as one of, if not the most dominant trios in the history of Stardom, and that's why they're not only the Artists of Stardom champions, they're the first ever Triangle Derby winners. They have done everything to make these three seem as dominant as they should be. Restart led by Kairi, is a former trio from I believe it was when Sayori and Natsupoi were in the promotion Actress Girls, and Kairi was there for a certain match or something. See, this is like the cloudiest I am on this, and I say that jokingly because I mostly know the story, but overall, Kairi wanted to bring Sayori to Stardom and wanted Natsupoi to jump in. She, Kairi went face to face with Prominence, said, Suzuki, I want to challenge you three to a tag match. She introduced Natsupoi. Then Sayori Inu was the big reveal. Sayori Inu is probably the most prominent, no pun intended, freelancer in Joshi. And now she's part of Cosmic Angels, which is a whole different thing. But this is going to be as good as it gets for a trios match on this show. They made it as big as possible. I do expect new champions here. I'd be shocked for Sayori to lose in her re-debut in Stardom. This should be getting to see Kairi and Suzuki in the same ring at the same time is like an absolute dream. Never imagined something like that. So definitely be excited for this one. Everyone knows who Kairi is, and I hope everyone walks away loving the other five in this match.
I agree with you. I think this is going to be a great match. And I also agree. I think Restart gets the win here because I know Kairi has been flirting with the fact that she is considered a free agent, but I want her to stick around for a little bit. I want her to stick around at least until 5-star Grand Prix.
Listen,
give me Kairi in 5-star Grand Prix. That's all
I'll tell everyone now. The Kairi free agent thing, she's always been free. Like she gets to do whatever she wants. She could do that the last year. She's in Stardom for good. Like that's where her base is, and she's gonna do other things that she wants to do. Don't worry, she'll be around.
Who do you have, J News?
Yeah, new champs here. Restart gets the win. Yeah, much to what Scott said. I don't, Kairi being a free agent thing, like the rumor mill here in the States. Oh, is she coming back? Is she not coming back? Da, 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 da. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. She's staying in Japan. She's a star over there. She's billed. She's top billing always. Her matches are always of importance. So at the end of the day, being that she's of importance here in this 6-man tag or the 6-lady tag, this trios match, I would say that her team gets the win here. Put a bigger spotlight on these belts, even though the team Prominence has been prominent, has been dominant with their run. Changing the belts over always makes for good fodder for the fans. So I think that them getting the win makes a lot of sense.
And I got Alan Banky going on a limb on both of this, saying I got the champs retaining the titles, and this match is going to be match of the night for sure. Man, he said it with his chest. He said it with his chest, but I'm not sure about that when we get to the rest of these matches on the card here. Next championship matchup we got is for the Goddess of Stardom titles, basically their tag team championships, as it's going to be 7-Up versus the New Eras. 7-Up is basically kind of like the original. We have the first ever World of Stardom champion in Nene Takahashi, and she's been holding it down. They've been having some great matches for the Goddess of Stardom titles, but I know, Scott, from following you on social media, you're a big fan of New Eras and, of course, the Cinderella champion, Mirai. So let us know how we got to this matchup here, and let us know your love for Mirai.
Yeah, it could be dangerous. I actually am very hard on Ami Sarai, which is her tag team partner, but I do love Mirai. This match comes together based off of their match in the Goddess of Stardom tournament, tag league tournament. These two were very personal when they went head to head, like very personal in that at the end, you and Mirai were like hitting each other like with slaps, and like it felt very personal. So I was like, interesting. Maybe we'll go back to this. We are going back to this. 7-Up have been great tag team champions. They've been absolutely dominant since coming into the promotion. But I've always said that they were a tag team to put a young tag team over. this is your young tag team to put over. I don't see anyone else making much sense unless you were to go to Hazuki and Koguma again in Fukuoka, or going to back to Meltier. No one else really makes sense to me. So I do think it should be the New Era's walking on. The New Era's I've been back and forth on as a team. They're getting better and better. They don't have the same chemistry as, say, the top tag teams have, but they're getting there. And I think with 7-Up, they can get there. This is one of those matches that I think a lot of people look at and they're like, it should be good. I think it can really wow people because, one, I think Mirai is excellent. I like, as you were alluding to, she's one of my favorites. I think she's very crafty and creative. She has a lot of Puro tendencies to her that I think are very interesting. She's very inspired by Hiroki Goto and Shingo Takagi, for example, she said before. And I think that's probably why she's so different from everyone else, because she's not taking from other Joshi wrestlers. She's taking from the never open weight fellas, right? And I think that makes her that much better. Of course, she's back-to-back Cinderella winner too. I think you want to highlight her, get her first title here. It should be a really good match. And I've said that for pretty much everything, but it should be really good.
Yes, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going with the New Eras here. I have some animosity towards 7-Up because they ended Meltier's reign a lot shorter than it should have went. Tam and Natsupoi, with them singing their own theme song, should have been champions for a while here. Should have been champions coming into the show, but of course they're being spotlighted in bigger matches on this show, so I can't be too upset. But I have animosity toward 7-Up, and plus the fact that Nene always likes to scream during her matches. It does get kind of grating. Yes, it gets very grating for me, especially after watching that Waka tag team matchup. I was like, God damn, will she stop screaming? Like my missus is asking me, what are you watching?
Yeah, it's questionable. It's questionable.
We got a request here from King of the North. He says, do the clap, Scott.
All right. You're welcome.
There you go.
It's the Mirai clap. There we go. See, everyone does the clap. The clap is, the funny thing about the clap is I started tweeting those 3 clap emojis like over a year ago now, and people were not on the Mirai train at the time, so they wanted to kill me. Now they are, so it's okay. But I was tweeting those at all times because she was getting all the big spots and showing out. But I think that's funny that I got a request for the damn claps here.
We got Benji. He says, I'm so 50-50 on this match. Will Rosie want to make both Mirai and Amy double champs? I don't know, because Sarai is the future of Stardom champion, correct?
Yes. Will they want to make both? I don't know. Ami can lose. Ami could lose at any time. I just need Mirai to win a belt. I've been waiting. She's had a World of Stardom title match, a Wonder of Stardom title match, 2 Goddess of Stardom title matches already. Now this one. She's come up short a lot. She needs to win eventually. If that's not this, then it has to be the next one, which I think she needs to win anyways. I can see it go either way, but I do think we'll have new champions.
We got Alan Bakey saying, I got Team Mirai winning the titles, but Team 7-Up, get yourself a drink deal like Just 5 Guys in their burger deal. Thumbs up for that. Thumbs up for that reference, because we got the president of the Just 5 Guys fan club, Jay News, after his boy Sonata won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Who you got, 7-Up or the New Eras?
With the way that Scott broke everything down, anytime he puts a wrestler in the same vein as Hiroki Goto and Shingo Takagi, I gotta pick that particular side of things, because those two guys are great. Hey man, listen, at the end of the day, if that's the inspiration she's taken, I roll with her. So that team.
I made a
And
new Mirai fan. I won.
You could tell that by the lariats she throws.
Yeah.
She throws some fierce lariats out there. So once you said it, Scott, I was like, that makes a lot of sense after those
Yeah.
lariats that I saw from her.
No.
And she just kept using the lariat. I was like, okay, spam the lariat. That's what I love to see.
Oh, it's the best. I wish Shingo spammed the lariat.
For real. The pump and bomber. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
King of the North said, I'll never forget Tom Lawler in the crowd doing the Mirai clap. And then he took his own clap.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
did.
Jay New's favorite. Jay New's
Oh my
favorite.
God.
Tom Lawler.
Oh my God. Get me away from all those team filthy bastards. God damn it.
All right, it's about that time. The match that I'm sure a lot of people watching this, whether live or whether on demand, they wanted to hear us talk about this matchup here for the IWGP Women's Championship. Mercedes Mone defending the championship against the icon of Stardom, Mayu Iwatani. This one has been building for a few months now. We kind of knew about this matchup, or the rumors started before even we had the Mercedes versus Azumi versus Hazuki matchup at Sakura Genesis. Iwatani was the woman who was in the finals of the IWGP Women's Championship tournament against Kairi at Historic Crossover, losing there. But she's been on a quest to get back and win the only title that she has never won in the Stardom verse here, and she is going up against an icon in her own right in Mercedes Mone. She made the challenge at Sakura Genesis with Mercedes slapping her across the face. Then we had the press conference where Mercedes Mone went full on Japanese villain with the you didn't beat Kairi, but who did? Me. And Mayu sucks, she really sucks. And then slapping Mayu and then putting her through the table with the money maker. Then we had the incident that went down at the Cinderella tournament finals where Iwatani was cutting a promo in the ring, and then of course Mercedes came out with a hood and a wig because she loves her wig reveals and appeared there. It was reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that came out earlier today that this was an idea from Mercedes, who wanted to do that angle at Cinderella tournament finals to add even more hype for this matchup. This is the main draw, despite two other matches that we have higher and that we're going to discuss on this show. This is by far the match everyone's looking forward to. But most of all, Scott, who has been saying for months, this is his dream match. So tell us your anticipation. I think I did a good job of giving the background, so you don't have to do that part. So give us how hyped are you for this match and why you're so hyped, and who do you think is walking out with the IWGP Women's Championship?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I went as far last year, when we didn't know what was going on with Sasha Banks at the time, right? We had no idea what was going on. I went as far as saying I would retire from doing any content if I got the one dream match I wanted, which was Mercedes Mone versus Mayu Iwatani. Fast forward to now, I did not expect to actually get it, because I always like to explain a dream match as something that doesn't actually seem possible. When you're in WWE, nothing seems possible, right? We never ever get someone to leave and actually go take chances. If anything, they go to AEW, and it's like, all right, that was whatever. Sure, go ahead, whatever. Very original. Mercedes Mone isn't original. And the reason I'm so excited about this match, I firmly believe, and this, you can argue with a wall, I don't care. I think Mercedes Mone is the best women's North American wrestler of all time. I truly believe that. In ring wise, I think she is untouchable. And I think she was the best four horsewoman, and I think she still is the best of the four. Countless all-time matches in WWE. She helped put them on the map. And to think that here on the biggest women's show in decades, that one of the reasons that women's wrestling really got pushed back to the forefront is on this show, that's insane to think about. For those who don't know, Mayu Iwatani is my favorite of all time. If you follow me, you know that by now. But if you don't, I'll tell you now, she is. I think she's unbelievable. I think she's one of the truly greatest of all time. And the fact that we're getting this is amazing. And then they went the extra mile and they built the match. They said, "Oh, you know what? Let's make this like Sasha Banks versus Bayley." And it's like, wow, first of all, because I didn't expect them to go down the perfect storyline route, because Mayu Iwatani as the underdog is perfect. She is unbelievable in that role. And we have now reached a point in the story, though, where Mayu Iwatani has to win. She already had to win in my eyes, because the IWGP Women's title is something she needs to win. But now she's been bullied, mocked, run over, slapped 3 different times. She hasn't had the upper hand once. It feels like they set that up because she needs to win. And for those who are listening, or those who care, that doesn't mean Mercedes Mone is leaving. I think Mercedes Mone has gotten the bug, as I expected, the good bug, not the sick bug. I said I think Mercedes just needs to wrestle one match, and she's going to want to do this more and more. After the Sports Illustrated interview yesterday, I think we're pretty locked in. She's going to do this more and more. There's a lot of matches she wants to have, whether it's in Stardom / New Japan or elsewhere. She wants matches in TJPW as well. That's why I do think that she may lose here, do those TJPW matches, and then come back around. And then you can always crown her again if you want to, because she's going to want that Tokyo Dome match. You know she wants that Tokyo Dome match. That means a lot should mean a lot to everyone, but it definitely means a lot to her. And I think that's kind of what I'm seeing for her, is lose here, go have your matches in TJPW, whether it's Miyu Yamashita or Mizuki, as she tweeted yesterday. Come back, and then, whether go for this title, go for Giulia. Her and Giulia had a little scuffle on Twitter the other day. There's multiple ways for her to go. But I do think Mayu wins here. Mercedes revamps, does whatever she needs to do, and we'll come back to it. I think the story plays to Mayu needing to win, but this is about as 50-50 as it gets, because I do think Mercedes could easily. Why would you take the belt off Mercedes if she extended her contract, right? Like, that's the same conversation. I'm gonna go with Mayu because that's what my heart goes with. But I'm gonna be happy either way. Like, this isn't like the Kyrie match where I was devastated that Mayu lost. I'm gonna be happy either way, because it means either more Mercedes guaranteed or Mayu's champion. It's a win-win. It should be excellent.
Yeah, I'm probably not as big of a fan as Mayu as you are, but I have all the respect in the world to her. I think she's the best actress when in professional wrestling. Like, her facial expressions, her body language, she gets you invested. She's one of the best underdog baby faces, regardless of gender, in all of professional wrestling. And we got a couple of comments here on What to the Future. King of the North saying, popping like a madman because SP3 is pronouncing Iwatani like she's a mob boss from The Sopranos. My New York accent doesn't come out a lot, but it does come out when I say Iwatani. For some reason. J News, who you got? Mayu or Mercedes?
It's been documented that I am not the biggest fan of Mercedes Mone's run as IWGP Women's Champion. But she's done good things. I can't discount the fact that she's done good things. And I think that she's done what she set out to do. And I applaud her for that. But she takes the loss here. Mayu is the GOAT. That much I do know. At the end of the day, she takes the loss. Mercedes has more to do, right? She wants to go over to TJPW, do her thing over there. Can't wait to see her in a match versus Yamashita, because that to me is a dream match. Because that lady, like, the first time I saw her, I was like, oh, that's it. She's it. You know what I'm saying? She's it. I was like, so I can't wait to see what Mercedes does over there. Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, like Scott was saying, this is the only belt that Mayu's never held. So they need to give her the gold now. And on top of everything else, there are certain things that are coming about here on the West. Forbidden Door being one of them, right? I wonder if the IWGP Women's Championship will be defended at Forbidden Door. So that being said, and Mayu, and I understand, people want to see Mercedes over on an AEW show and all that crap or whatever cases, but Mayu being the GOAT and her being one of the best women's wrestlers of all time, I think would be a better fit from an exhibition standpoint. Maybe championship versus champion, depending on whoever the champion is at that time. If it's still Jamie Hayter, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing there. So yeah, man, Mayu for the win. This should be a very, very, very good match. And if they steal the show, more props to them, man.
I would not be surprised if you've seen. I've said it before. Mercedes versus Kyrie is one of the best women's matches that I've seen this year, and probably the best women's match I've seen in North America up until that point, since Mercedes versus Bianca at WrestleMania 37. But I think that we are all in agreement. Mayu kind of has to win here so Mercedes can go off and do her thing in Tokyo Joshi Pro, maybe appearance in AEW, who knows, but for her to go out and do the other things that she wants to do, she kind of has to drop the title here. And more importantly, what Scott kind of said, that Mayu has ate shit every single time she's been face to face with Mercedes, that she kind of has to win here. I think it is a toss up. Well, we could see Mercedes win, and I wouldn't be surprised by that, but I want Mayu to win, and she hasn't kind of won a major title in Stardom in quite some time, and I need it to happen here, and I would love to see it. A lot of people talking about this matchup in the chat. We got Alan who says, man, Mayu is going to kill this girl after everything that has happened to her, but Mercedes will retain probably if she's sticking around for a while. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised by that outcome at all. We got Sleeping Angels who says, I think Mercedes is going to put this woman over. I think she's going to take a loss here. We got King of the North who says, I need that Mercedes match in Choco Pro, brother. I love it. We got Benji who says, echoing what King of the North says, saying Chi versus a Mercedes match of the year. We also got King of the North who says, Scott, do you think Mercedes is X on the Hana Komuro show?
Well, I didn't think about it till now. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, she was with Kyoko Kimura the other day, in Jungle Kiona. I don't think it'd be crazy to think that she would say absolutely to being on that show. Yeah. That being said, I feel like you'd want to announce that Mercedes was on the show. So, I think she makes an appearance. I think that's very possible. Of course, she honored Hana Kimura in that first match that she had. So I think it'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. But I don't know. I feel like you'd want to announce her, but she also wants to do stuff with Aja Kong. So teaming with Aja Kong wouldn't be something she'd say no to either.
And when is the Hana Kimura show?
The 23rd of May.
So maybe they're waiting for her to drop the title here, and then they make the announcement. Maybe
that's very possible.
They could do something like that. We got Alan who says, do you guys think that Bayley will go to Stardom with Mercedes and reunion team role model? It's the golden role models, them together. But I don't, because in the Wrestling Observer newsletter today, they talked about the fact that Stardom and Bushiroad kind of had have an opportunity here to sign up Trinity, the former Naomi, but they're trying to kind of cut costs and cut their spending. So maybe their one investment is Mercedes just for now.
I was reading, I believe this was a shorter report from Fightful, I believe, that the Stardom couldn't afford Trinity. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess, know what you're worth, no doubt. But at the end of the day, it's like, don't price yourself out. That's when it comes to business, everything is understood. You got to make money, put food on the table, things of that nature. But at the same time, if you're really fitting to wrestle, don't price yourself out. Make the appearances, get on TV, do the shows, and go from there. So if Stardom can't afford it, that's one thing. You know what I'm saying? If they're cutting back, if they're cutting costs. But I want to see Trin back, man. I want to see her back doing some wrestling stuff. So hopefully we see her on TV sometime soon.
She already teased that she could do the dance routine of Club Venus. She said she would be down. She's done dance. She's a dancer at heart, so she could do the Club Venus dance routine. Come on, I would love to see that. Give me that. I'm here for just her coming in and doing a dance routine. But I feel like it's a different investment from Mercedes, who has this kind of built-in kind of it's one of the terms of wrestling fans. There's wrestling fans, there's marks, there's smarks, and then there's Sasha Stans, who are now Mercedes marks. So like when you have your own name for your fan base, it's different. That's a fan base that will go with you and have gotten New Japan World because of her and are gonna get this pay-per-view because of her. I think that I don't know if Trinity has that same loyal fan base that will go to a different promotion where there's a return on the investment for Bushy Road.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. We got here Frantic World saying, I have a question. If Tony Khan wanted to do a 2-night Forbidden Door pay-per-view, can we see AEW women's division versus Stardom? I think that right now it's AEW and New Japan. It's not AEW and Bushi Road. So I think people don't realize that there's two different things.
Rossi has not appeared to be interested in working with AEW, and I have my theories about why. That being said, I do not think that would happen. I also don't know if the division's strong enough necessarily.
That's really more or less the theory, right? That division's not strong enough. She doesn't think that those girls can hang with her girls. It is what it is.
Truthfully, like if they do Forbidden Door and they have an IWGP Women's title match, or they send someone to face Jamie, or they do champion versus champion, I've believed that the only people that would be able to challenge for the IWGP would be Jamie Hayter or Tony Storm, because they are both former Stardom members. Tony Storm, of course, former World of Stardom champion. So I do feel like that means something to Rossi. That would be like someone to be like, yeah, that's okay. That's okay to me, because New Japan gets to book the IWGP Women's title, but so does Rossi, and Rossi has a lot of that main control over it. And I think that does matter. So I've thought Tony probably, if that match does happen on Forbidden Door, if not, maybe they send Kyrie for Jamie, because Kyrie is a little more free, like we talked about earlier. So that's kind of to put all my thoughts into that. But yeah.
Plus, there's also the whole, AEW has a relationship with Tokyo Joshi Pro, and not a lot of mixing up when it comes
that
to
too.
the Japanese
so it's similar to the CMLL AAA thing.
Not to a lesser extent. I compare CMLL and AAA to Bloods and Crips. I wouldn't go that far with Tokyo Joshi Pro.
And not that deep. And no. As you can see, like with this show, Stardom's willing to work with like the whole Joshi scene, except TJPW.
Seems like that, yeah. Benji saying, I'm gonna need Daniel Garcia in Club Venus if we are getting Trinity. I'll be all for that.
I'm not sure what that reference is to, but hey, it is what it is.
Daniel Garcia said he wanted to do the dance or something. That is on Twitter.
Saying Dan Garcia gonna get caught acting up with Club Venus getting popular. And we got King of the North also adding need a Giulia title defense at All In London. Hometown girl gotta happen.
I want to get my hopes up for that one.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like, we got King of the North. We also, with his own analogy, saying CMLO and AEW, AAA got cartel involvement. TJPW Stardom don't got Yakuza involvement. There's a difference. There's a difference, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, there are two other big matches on this card. I feel like it's like a triple main event because the white belt, the Wonder of Stardom Championship, is nearly on the same level as the red belt, the World of Stardom Championship. And it's a huge matchup that's had a long storyline building up to this. As you have what a lot of people consider the greatest Wonder of Stardom champion of all time, Saya Kamitani, defending her championship against Mina Shirakawa. These two women faced off last fall for the white belt, where Saya Kamatani basically injured Mina with her Phoenix Splash, landing on her face where she needed dental work. This woman was walking around like she was a mummy for a long time with her head all wrapped up. But this created a whole change in Mina and brought out this aggression, a new side to Mina that has led to her cutting her hair and forming her new group of Club Venus and kind of finally taking herself away from the Cosmic Angels. And this is her biggest match yet. Can she finally win the white belt and end the historic reign of Saya Kamatani, who has held this title since December of 2021, has the record for the most title defenses in the belt's history? Or will Saya's historic reign continue? Scott, who do you got?
So to give a little background quickly on this match, and I think you did a great job at it. You know, Saya's dominant reign is something to marvel at in a lot of ways, just because they've really went all the way with her. And some people have thought maybe she was supposed to lose it at one point, but then they just decided, no, I think she was always going to break it. The Mina side is the most interesting side of this, because obviously her winning wouldn't come as too much of a surprise, because she has been built up by fans and by her own work to be someone ready to take on this role. That being said, a lot of Stardom fans have kind of been a little shaky with how we've gotten here, because she had like the biggest babyface promo ever after that match, right, when her face got smashed. And she has since kind of added a new edge, become a bit more heelish. And that's me saying that was probably always the plan. She just happened to get her face broken, so we got a different promo. And I don't know if it was always the plan for her to win this title. I don't really think that was the case. Like, if you asked me a year ago, was Mina Shirakawa going to win the Wonder of Stardom Championship, I would have said absolutely not. But she has put in the work to get here. She has the story to make it make sense. And Mirai is going to be waiting in the wings. So it's like, does Mina win, get the moment, get the little title shot, and then drop it? And I think that's what Stardom's in need of, truthfully, is a short title reign with one of these top two titles. I feel like Mina can win, have one defense, then drop it to Mirai. I actually think that might be best case scenario in a lot of ways, because we don't have the short title reigns. Could Saya winning with the Phoenix Splash, a move she hasn't used since she hurt Mina, be the story as well? Absolutely. But it's always felt like Mina's getting this belt one way or the other, and they can go right to Mirai after. They should go right to Mirai after. But the way they've built it up, Club Venus being its own faction now, it feels like Mina has to win, because it's definitely a now or never scenario for her to get one of these top belts.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna go with Mina to get the win. I do agree with Benji in the chat, who says if Mina wins, she ain't gonna hold it for long. And I think I agree with Scott that, yeah, that's kind of what one of these top titles has needed for a while, because you had, Syuri with the year-long reign, last year before Giulia won it. Then you've had, Saya hold this title since December of 2021. Before that, you had either Giulia or Tam Nakano holding the white belt. So I think that this is what it needs to happen. And I agree, it's either now or never for Mina. And I think that she gets the win after she moves out of the way of the Phoenix Splash and hits the miss that she did during the press conference when she put the miss all over her face, and then gets her finisher for the win. I think Mina, new Wonder of Stardom champion. J News, who you got, Mina or Saya?
This is an embattled storyline here, and we've got two perspectives and two ways of doing things. But what's the better story, right? winning does what for who in this particular match, right? The way that SP3 broke it down, the way Scott broke it down, it seems if Mina wins, even though she's not going to hold the belt for too long, in your guys' estimation, it just seems like it means more. So this is what we're going for. It's a big show. What means more? Mina for the win. So I'm with that. Mina for the win.
So you think she finishes the story?
Yes. Someone's got to finish the story, goddammit.
Sonata
We had Sonata. We had Sonata finish his story. We need Mina to finish her. Everyone finishes their story except for Cody Rhodes. That's the theme of all these other places. Saya, as I like to call her, the crying warrior, but King of the North says, tall Saya supremacy. So, there you go. There you go. And then finally, the main event of this huge show in Yokohama Arena is for the red belt, the World of Stardom Championship, the top prize in the promotion. You have Giulia defending against her career rival, Tam Nakano. These two women, like I said before, feuded over the white belt, which led to the blow-off matchup at the previous big show. Dream Queen, was it Dream Queendom, Scott? Was it Dream Kingdom in 2021?
All-Star
Dream Cinderella. All-Star Dream Cinderella in 2021, where Tam won and Giulia had her head shaved, and this led to Giulia being more beloved in Stardom and going on the road that led her to win the World of Stardom Championship, defeating Syuri last year at Dream Queendom, and now she faces her longtime rival, the woman that beat her for her last championship, Tam. This is also the woman that she defeated in the 5-Star Grand Prix finals to earn the opportunity at the World of Stardom Championship. And the road here has been grueling and has gotten more and more personal as the road has gone on. Tam, back in 2021, when Giulia was supposed to get her head shaved, didn't even want to take it, didn't even want to do the haircut. She gave it up to someone else to cut the hair of Giulia, but her frustration with the fact that Giulia has become more successful since their whole rivalry in 2021 led to her cutting the hair of Giulia on our road to this big matchup. Then Giulia beat down Tam in the press conference, bloodying her, and they did a great video. There's a couple of great videos on either Stardom social media, and I even saw yesterday someone did a My Way video to this rivalry, because this is the type of rivalry that we have here. You could give it more of an explanation. If I didn't do a good enough job, Scott, let us know about this matchup. What's your feelings going in, and who do you got?
Yeah, you did a great job, so I'll give you credit there. You did a great job kind of connecting all the dots as to why this is kind of such a blood feud now, and why it's taken a next step in terms of what making this the main event. And it should be the main event. It has the most history, has the most story in terms of the Stardom landscape. And this is something that I say to some New Japan fans and they want to hit me, but I'm going to say it anyways. Tam Nakano is Stardom's Tetsuya Naito in terms of popularity. Like, that's why yeah, okay, so thank you. Okay. Yeah. So that's why this match is happening. It's like having Okada and Naito in your back pocket and being like, yeah, we need this for our biggest show. Let's do it. And they put the story together to make it make sense. She is their Naito in every way, whether it's, being a little somewhat a complicated character, but also just everyone loves them no matter what. And their rivalry is one of the greatest in Stardom's history, no matter how you cut it, right? You talked about All-Star Dream Cinderella ends up with Giulia getting her head shaved and losing the title. You look at the 5-Star Grand Prix last year, why would they? Because Naito's a very sensitive subject. Okay,
This is true. This is true.
It is. But people have to realize you got to live in reality, man. You got to live in reality.
Yeah. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. But at the 5-Star Grand Prix final last year, Giulia finally got back to the top by beating Tam Nakano. So they've pretty much done this one-upsmanship. Right now, the series is tied at 3-2, Giulia with the lead, which is important. And this is the last chance, it feels like, for Tam Nakano to ever become World of Stardom champion. This is that last time. And she has brought up retirement before. I don't know if it's definitely not immediate, right? Because we're doing the Cosmic Angel stuff right now and Club Venus, and she's not retiring tomorrow. She's not retiring at the end of this match. This is her shot, and they've done their best job, right? We're so early in Giulia's reign, a reign that the moment she walked into the company, everyone knew was going to come. They've done such a good job at making you think there is a chance that Giulia could lose. I think Giulia wins. I do. But they've done their best to make it 50-50. And this is why this is the main event. Some people say, well, why isn't the IWGP? Because the IWGP isn't the world title for Stardom. This is Stardom's biggest show. Mm-hmm. This isn't the New Japan show. This isn't historic crossover where it makes sense. The Tam Road, that is what she calls her entire story. The Tam Road is a very long, winding road. This is her final big destination, I think. If she walks out the winner, I'm not going to be upset, but I'd be shocked to see Giulia lose. Giulia has a lot of matches left in the chamber for this title.
Hey, I think I told you on social media, I still need Giulia versus Mayu for this World of Stardom Championship. The last two matches went to a time limit draw, but I do agree with you. This feels like one of the biggest rivalries in all of Stardom, one of their greatest that they've told over the past 2 to 3 years. And they are two of the three pillars of Stardom. When you really think about it, and if you really watch Stardom, it's Tam, it's Giulia, and it's Mayu. Those are the three top stars in the promotion. You could throw in Syuri in there as well, Hayashita, but I feel like those are the three pillars of this company, and this is the right main event to go down here. But I also agree with you. Love Giulia, and I think Giulia retains. What do you got, J News?
Man, this is tough. Reason as to why I say it's tough is because exactly what Scott said. This is 50-50 because I've watched the Stardom videos on YouTube. So the build has been so I would have never thought outside of the US to see blood in a women's match. And for there to be an actual blood feud in this Stardom match, it's like, oh, this is going to be super violent. I just don't know when it's going to get to that point. Either it's going to be from start to finish. It's going to be in the middle of the match. I'm looking forward to this match. I became a fan of Giulia through her teaming with Zaki. So at the end of the day, anyone that the Techers blesses with his presence, they're top notch. I can't see her losing. She just recently got this damn strap. So let it breathe. And I think somebody else said it in the chat. I want to see that match between her and Mercedes if it comes to head. You know what I'm saying? A match with her and Mayu. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And it was like we need more of what Giulia can bring. And obviously she's not necessarily a native of Japan, so her being a Gaijin champion means something over there. So in that regard, keep that going. And see where it goes, man. But I have Giulia retaining. But this should be. I mean, I said that about the Mercedes match that they could be they can steal the show, but this match might just be the match of the night, regardless, man. Just because it's gonna have all the feels, all the emotion, the violence. Because a lot of the time, sometimes you don't get much violence in Stardom shows. So when we get the violence here, this might just play it up. So Giulia for retaining here.
We got a couple of people who's going for Giulia as well. We got Frantic World saying Giulia is going to be like Bryan Danielson. She's going to kick someone's head off. We got Alan Bakey exit is SP3. Are you and Jay News doing a watch along to this Stardom show? No, because y'all don't want to see me with crust in my eyes. Waking up that early in the AM on 3 a.m. on Sunday. But we will. I think we're gonna do a review. Are you good to do a review, J News?
I am good to do a review. So here's a question, though, Scott. You can answer this for me. So can I go on to World of Stardom and purchase this event just singularly without having a membership to
So there is a pay-per-view link you can purchase
Okay.
it singularly. Yes.
Okay.
It's not on Stardom World, it's on their pay-per-view supplier. So yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to subscribe to anything. This isn't the UFC and ESPN. You don't have to subscribe and then pay for a pay-per-view. Or I know New Japan World actually does that too. So
Yeah,
you can just buy the pay-per-view. They have
which
the
I
link
hate
out there.
sometimes. I do.
Yeah,
hate
it's not
when
great.
New Japan does that. I hate
It's
that
not
so much. So what? Monday, J News. Monday we could do that.
Monday morning, brother. Let's bring it on. Let's do this review.
you
Bring it to the True Heel Heat Nation, and see us what everybody thought. Gives me time to the show's tomorrow if I'm not
Sunday.
23rd.
Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I
Pretty
can
much
definitely
tomorrow. I only
yeah,
sleep
there
one
you
more
go.
time.
It's Japan time. So
And we gotta invite Scott. I know Scott's gonna be busy doing 101 reviews of this show, but we would love for you to join us for our review of this show because you added a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge on the feuds and everything. And I think that this is gonna be one hell of a show, probably a show of the year candidate. And I feel like I've said that at least 8 times this year already.
A lot of good wrestling, huh? It's been a pretty good. It's been a pretty good year in 4 months, huh? Just to think you have All In, Forbidden Door, Dominion, the G1. Do I need to name anything else so far that we have coming
That's
up?
enough. That's enough. I'm tired already. Dream Queendom at the end of the year. Oh
I
man.
know it's never ending, and I love every second of it, as I like to say.
But yes, thank you so much, Scott. Once again, we invite you join us for our review. We're gonna do that Monday morning. I don't know if we'll do it live or not. That depends on J News's schedule. But
no, man,
Scott,
Monday mornings, I'm always good, brother. I'm
Okay.
always good Monday mornings.
so we'll be back 11:05 a.m. on Monday to review the show. But Scott, you can let us know if you're going to join us or not, or if you have to look at your schedule. But do definitely let the people know where they can find you on social media, what you got going on, where they can see all your previews for the show and the reviews coming up. You got
so you can check out my preview for the show, written preview on voiceofwrestling.com. Very proud of that one. Over like 2,800 words, which is a bit much.
Nice.
But nonetheless, that is what happened. So go check that out. You can check out my audio preview on the Fight Game Media Network YouTube channel. That is up there free. It's under the live tab. You can check out my 5-Star Joshi show on the Fight Game Media Network Patreon. That's where I kind of talk all Joshi, and I talked a little bit more about this show because I can't stop talking about this show. And you can check out all my stuff at Fightful as well. I do a lot of interviews there. Interviews, Joshi stuff. I have the Select Style podcast, which comes out usually every Tuesday morning, talking about the past week in Japan. So check all that out as well. And like it says here, follow me at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter to see all my thoughts. Because if you've been following me this week, if you've been following me at all, you know that I take a lot of victory laps when it comes to someone like Mercedes Mone, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. Do I actually retire after Sunday? I don't know. We'll see. But this is wrestling. Just remember, I can come out of retirement whenever I want. That's how wrestling works. But thank you so
that's
much.
why we're challenging you to come on our review before you retire.
I know.
We're doing it before you retire.
You're trying to make me break kayfabe over here. I don't know what you're doing to me. I'm supposed to act like I'll never do this again.
No. It's like Himeka. She's gonna have a retirement match here and then one more match outside the promotion. Yeah, this is your one more.
You got
match
me there.
outside the promotion.
Oh, and I actually am doing a review I'll do a call-in review actually on the Fight Game Media Network. That'll be on Monday, but later in the day, so I can be on this one.
So you get to see us three together on Monday. I'm hyped for that. We do get a quick question here before I hand it over to J News to let everybody know where they can follow him. We got King of the North asking any thoughts on Chris Charlton doing English commentary for this show. I think they made a great choice. I definitely do think they did. He gives so much knowledge. You know, J News, we watch New Japan all the time. I think he always does a great job of adding the tidbits that Kevin Kevin Kelly won't always give us. He has more of like the background on everything, so he's going to be a good person to do this.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, for the most part, Chris is there for comedic relief at times when it comes to the New Japan shows. So him adding his well-versed knowledge of Japanese wrestling in total, and here with Stardom is good. I'll be looking for the English commentary link to purchase this event for Sunday. So Chris Charlton, you're the man. Thanks for letting me view Stardom.
I think he's the perfect choice. Besides myself. They could have called me, but they didn't. So I think Chris was obviously a good choice. I think him doing play-by-play is very interesting. I'm looking forward. I've seen him do some New Japan shows on that, but he's done the work to know what he needs to talk about, to appreciate what's going on, and that's why I'm happy they picked him. Sonny Gutierrez worked for Stardom, so obviously a great choice to have that Stardom insight. And then having a wrestler like Momo Kogo in there is always good too. Poor girl was the one pretty much assassinated in the Mercedes Mayu press conference, but I'm happy she gets the chance. So yeah, no, Chris Charlton was a great choice. The second best choice besides me, of course.
Absolutely. We're gonna make a campaign that we get Scott on the next Stardom pay-per-view. But Jay News, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, sir.
Well, you can always follow me on the Instagrams _JONJY. Love to interact with folks over there. Also follow me here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, doing all the New Japan news and New Japan reviews and roundtables and things of that nature. You can also follow me over on True Heel Heat Sports, doing the high heat, talking that baseball. Yeah, the Patreon, man. Never forget about the Patreon. We're over here for the Patreon folks, doing the exclusive content on the Patreon. $3 a month gets you all that nice and juicy wrestling in news and stuff as well. SP3, you got more on that Patreon side than I do. So
Yeah. Check out Patreon right now. $3 gets you in the door. We got my Raw report from earlier this week talking about Trish Stratus's promo, and yeah, you got to give it up for Romeo to choosing that picture for my Raw report because it looks good on the eyes. We got go over to True Heel Heat Sports and subscribe to that channel. Like Jay News said, we got the first edition of True Heel High Heat, giving a preview of the MLB season. We also got True Heel Heat Check, giving you a preview of the NBA playoffs. And like I said, we're going to do a review of the Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom, but we did reviews of shows earlier this week with myself and Jay News with our NJPW Collision Weekend review. We also did Impact Rebellion with myself and Chris G earlier this week, and I'll be back here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel tomorrow for True Heel Heat's flagship podcast, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and the returning top guy JJ talking about this week in wrestling, and we're gonna get the extremely novice Stardom fans their final predictions for Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom, which should be a bunch of fun. I can't wait to hear what Chrissy Love has to say about all these names. But follow me on social media at True Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Heel Heat. But thank you so much to Scott for joining us. Thank you to Jay News. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been our Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom preview. We are signing off until next time.